morning, it's Bob Mason from FX Empire and welcome to the daily crypto tech review of Bitcoin, EOS, Ethereum and Ripple's XRP. We'll be looking at the MACDs, the moving averages and the support and resistance levels. It is Sunday, the 2nd of August. Jumping straight in, looking at Bitcoin against the dollar and the hourly candlestick, slightly bearish start to the morning. Going to need to see Bitcoin avoid the pivot at 11.625 to support a run at this first major resistance level sitting at 12.023. Going to see a broad-based crypto rally for Bitcoin to break through to 12,000 and break out from yesterday's high that was at 11.843. So barring another broad-based crypto rally, that first major resistance level should cap the upside. In the event of breakout, second major resistance level sitting at 12.241 would likely come into play. Fall through the pivot, got the first major support level sitting at 11.407. Barring an extended sell-off on the day, however, we should see Bitcoin avoid the second major support level sitting at 11.009 and sub 11,000 levels. Looking at the MACDs, seeing a bearish crossover there, but need to make sure Bitcoin avoids a fall through the pivot. Avoiding the pivot should support upside on the day. Moving averages are supporting that. We're seeing a slight widening of the 50 from the 100 and 200. So a move through yesterday's high at 11.843 would be the first signal of another breakout. Moving across to EOS against the dollar, also slightly bearish start to the morning here. Going to need to see EOS avoid a fall through the pivot at 23.75. Moving across to EOS against the dollar, tracking the broader market, slightly bearish start to the morning. Going to need to see EOS avoid a fall through the pivot at 23.75 to support a run at its first major resistance level, sitting at 3.4009. Support from the broader market to break out from yesterday's high that was at 33.47. So barring an extended rally on the day, resistance at 3.4 should cap any upside. In the event of a breakout, we got the second major resistance level staying at 3.5. Fall through the pivot, bring the first major support level sitting at 3.14 into play. Barring extended sell-off, EOS should continue to avoid sub 3s, and the second major support level sits at 2.9748. Looking at the MACDs, we're seeing a slight narrowing of the bullish histograms, suggestive of a pullback through the morning. We are seeing a widening of the 50 EMA against 100 and 200, however. So avoiding that pivot level through the morning should support a run at 3.4s on the day. Moving across Ethereum against the dollar, slightly bullish start to the morning. Going to need to see Ethereum avoid the pivot sitting at 375, support a run at this first major resistance level sitting at 406. Support from the broader market to break out from yesterday's high of 394. We're going to expect plenty of resistance at 400. So barring an extended rally on the day, that first major resistance level should cap any upside. In the event of a breakout, second major resistance level sitting at 425 should come into play. Fall through the pivot would bring the first major support level sitting at 356 into play. Barring an extended rally, should see Ethereum avoid sub 350s and the second major support level sitting at 325. Looking at the MACDs, we're seeing a slight narrowing of the histograms there and suggestive of a pullback through the morning. EMA is giving a different story, however, we're seeing a widening of the 50 against the 100 and 200s, suggestive of another breakout. So avoiding a fallback through to sub 380s and that pivot level at 375 should support a breakout through to 400s on the day. Finally, looking at Ripple's XRP against the dollar, slightly bearish start to the morning after yesterday's breakout. Going to need to see Ripple's XRP avoid the pivot at 28.15 to support a run at this first major resistance level sitting at 3071. Support from the broader market to break out from yesterday's high of 29.758. So barring another extended rally, that first major resistance level should cap the upside on the day. Expect plenty of resistance at 0.3. In the event of a breakout, second major resistance level sitting at 32.83 could come into play later in the day. Fall through the pivot would bring the first major support level sitting at 26.53 into play. Barring an extended sell-off, however, should see Ripple's XRP avoid sub 26. Second major support level sits at 23.97. Looking at the MACDs, similar trend across the broader market, seeing a narrowing of the bullish histograms, suggestive of this morning pullback. Looking at the 50 EMA against the 100 and 200, however, it's pointing to another breakout day. So avoiding that pivot level and a move through to 0.3 should bring that second major resistance level sitting at 32.83 into play.